oh, we've got 2 people in. So it went really slow. I was like, well, where's everybody else? Starts raining, I might just run out and bring my washing in. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Natasha,
do it.
I might just leave you with this because I won't be able to bear it.
Don't worry about it, because it's gone a bit grey here as well, and it's highly likely that the dog will start barking at some point during this, so apologies in advance.
So we hope that'll happen. We like it when that happens. So we've got 11 people in. Oh, Claire's giving us a wave. Hi, go get that washing, said Margaret. No, I'm risking it, Margaret. I'm going to risk it. Blue sky, you know. Our last seminar, we were just chatting away, and poor Kaylee was doing the talk. Went, oh, it's just started raining. Got my washing out.
Oh no! Oh gosh. Not what you need, not what you want. But the joys of working from home, it can be, you know, rescued in minutes.
Exactly, that is the joy of working from home. Definitely. Right, I think we've got 12 people in. I think we'll make a start, and then hopefully anyone else will just join us. So welcome everyone, welcome to a conversation with Natasha Wilson. My name is Emma Smith. I'm the project manager for Empowered Conversations.
And hello there, I'm Natasha Wilson. I am the Dementia Partnerships Officer and Wellbeing Centre Lead for Age UK Sheffield.
So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about, I'm getting some weird feedback. Am I sounding okay, Natasha?
Yeah.
So just tell you a little bit about these seminars. We've been running them since May in our response to a conference that we'd booked. And Natasha, you were coming over to our conference.
Yeah, I know I was, wasn't I? That seems like a lifetime ago now.
It was like a really long time ago. So in response to that, we were like, okay, we were going to have a conference. We had all of these speakers lined up. So we started doing online seminars and in response to COVID. This has been part of, so it's alongside the seminars, we've been doing engagement activities. So we've had come and sing sessions that have been running. Margaret, who told me to get my washing in, Hare and Barbara have been running them since April, every Friday. I don't think they've had a break yet from those. We have an Escape to the Disco, an online disco session. We've done Escape to the Farm, drawing, creative sessions, and we run carers groups as well. So that's all in addition to what we normally would do. So normal day job is running Empowered Conversations, which is a communication course for family members, caring for people with dementia, and also for professionals. And that course gives people a little chance to pause and reflect on how they communicate, on their relationships, and just think about different ways that they can communicate to stay connected. And we've been delivering those across Greater Manchester and also to professional carers all over the place. We went to the Welsh Ambulance Service. Again, I'm going to say, Margaret, we went to the Welsh Ambulance Service, which was great. So that's been great. And in addition to that, we have something called Empowered Carers, which is one-to-one support for family carers in Salford. And it's via Zoom. And we used to have to explain what Zoom was for the first 2 years, and now we can just say Zoom and everybody knows what it is. We used to go, it's a bit like Skype. Don't have to do that anymore. So that's one benefit of COVID for us. So for anyone who's not been on here before, at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A function. And there's also chat. So you've seen that Margaret's already been chatting to us. If at any point you have a question, rather than try and keep it in your mind, you can just jot it down in the Q&A at the bottom, and then we'll pick those up at the end. So I'm going to hand over to Natasha, who's going to do her presentation. We'll come back, have a bit of chat, and then we'll go into a Q&A. So I hope that works well for everyone. So thank you very much, Natasha.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. And thanks to everybody who's attending today, even though I can't see you in the ether, wherever you are. Yeah, I'm from Age UK Sheffield. And as I said, I wear 2 hats really there. So I work for our Dementia Advice Service and for our Wellbeing Centre as well. I've been there for about 6 years now, 6 years in February. And prior to that, I was doing, I mean, I've always been passionate about dementia services anyway. I always knew that, you know, that's where my life lies and where my vocation is. So I did a MA in Dementia Studies at the University of Sheffield before starting with Age UK. So I wanted to just have a chat today about the two main services that I work on, and our response to COVID, what we've been doing during this pandemic, and also a bit of an insight prior COVID and post COVID as well. So I'm going to start with my hat on as a Dementia Partnerships Officer for the Dementia Advice Service. So that service in particular is aimed at professionals working with people with dementia. So it's not a public facing service. And we provide specialist like advice, guidance, support to absolutely anybody who's coming into contact with people who are living with dementia through their role. So that literally varies from care home staff, community nurses, support workers, through to people at post office, people who work in supermarkets, because absolutely everybody is going to work with people with dementia at some point. So we've done projects with hairdressers and things like that. So what I was going to do, if I learn to do the screen share right, is show you how what the diagnostic pathway looks like in Sheffield currently. So let me just try and do this. Can you tell me if you can see that?
I can see your screen.
Fabulous. So this all happened last year, that things were changed slightly in Sheffield. So the route that happens now in terms of a dementia diagnosis in Sheffield is that somebody goes to memory service, neurology, etc., receives a diagnosis of dementia. With their consent, the memory service or whoever it is who's made that diagnosis passes their details on to us at Age UK Sheffield at the Dementia Advice Service. And then the council they've split Sheffield up, because it's quite a large city, into, I think it's 15 key areas. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. And there's a voluntary organisation who take the lead for health and wellbeing in that particular area. So when we get somebody's details, so say it's you, Emma, and you live in the south of Sheffield, there'll be one organisation that is the kind of anchor organisation for you. And as part of their contracts, they have to deliver dementia-specific services. So what we do is we'd have your details and we'd pass it on to this particular organisation and say, this is what we know about Emma. She's just received this diagnosis. And then they're called People Keeping Well Partnerships. So that People Keeping Well Partnerships role would then be to give you a call, Emma, as your named link worker. So everybody's got a specialist dementia link worker from their local area. I'd then give you a call, have a chat, tell you a bit about the things that we're doing. So in Sheffield, the PKWs do things from your dementia cafes, obviously prior to COVID, your dementia cafes, there's allotment projects, there's walking groups, art groups, all sorts. And so they provide that initial phone call, and then every 6 months at the very minimum, they give you a call back just to see how things are, have a catch up. So the idea is that we're getting people right from diagnosis that linked into their local community provision. They've got a named dementia link worker who should act really as that person's first port of call. So anything that you wanted to know about, you would get in touch with your link worker. So that's in terms of the person with dementia. Now, the Dementia Advice Service then provides the advice, guidance, support for the professionals. So say, Emma, I'm your link worker, you come to me and say, I need some help applying for disability living allowance. I might not necessarily know, as because as part of this community provision, they help children's services, families, etc. So I might not necessarily have that specialist knowledge or insight into that. They would then get in touch with us at the Dementia Advice Service, and one of my colleagues, the dementia advisors, would pick up the phone or pick up an email from myself saying, I need a bit of advice to help this person, and we would then respond. The response times within 48 hours. So from all those, so that's just in terms of the link workers. Other inquiries that we get are from a range of organisations about all kinds of different topics. And then what we do through the inquiries that we get is pick out themes. So, for example, if there's a lot coming through about nutrition, for example, people are struggling with supporting people to eat and drink well, or eat and drink healthily, or whatever it might be, if we notice that there's a theme going on and we're picking up quite a few inquiries on a certain topic, we then deliver citywide training, free training that's available to anybody who's working with somebody or volunteering with somebody with dementia, with the idea of kind of to almost like upskill the workforce and, you know, really raise that awareness so that dementia friendly practices are embedded into every service, not just, you know, your hospital environments, your care environments. Let me just stop sharing.
Right. It didn't actually share on our screen, or it didn't share on my screen. No, but you were chatting so much, I thought people didn't need to see that. It's fine.
Oh, it's so colourful as well.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So the purpose of that service is to kind of, you know, forge that relationship with the person living with dementia and their families, right, you know, at the beginning of that journey, if you like. So with regards to what the local community provision was prior to COVID, it was, you know, obviously face to face, and when the pandemic hit, things obviously had to go online, go virtual. That face to face contact was, you know, significantly reduced for obvious reasons, and there was a kind of step up then from that kind of thing to, you know, your emergency food shops, your activity packs, your Zooms, carers groups, welfare checks, and so on. Because obviously, you know, people were still being diagnosed with dementia through this, and, you know, people who were newly diagnosed obviously had a lot to kind of grapple with still. So the idea of that is, you know, to meet people at that diagnosis point. Now, there was a recognition aside from that we're doing really well at the minute because of this change to get people newly diagnosed, but there's obviously a huge cohort of people who've been living with dementia for a long while before this was ever commissioned. So what Age UK Sheffield were given the task of doing was getting the dementia registers from all GP practices in Sheffield, and contacting every person on the books basically who had dementia, just for a COVID check-in, basically, you know, making sure that people were coping well at home, you know, they were having access to their essentials, but also whether they were interested at this point of being linked in to their community provision in the carer centre as well. So that's kind of one half of the dementia advice service. Now, for me personally, during COVID, I mean, we've had inquiries. I mean, at one point it kind of just all, you know, we were so busy, as you can imagine, such a new environment and way of working for us all, wasn't it? And we were getting inquiries and questions from care homes, link workers, you know, a range of people on lots of different topics, from you know, visiting restrictions in care homes to supporting people through, you know, technology, how to have a good telephone conversation with somebody with dementia. And that did inform a lot of the training that we have been providing via Zoom during this time. So we've done dementia at the end of life, we've done dementia with additional sensory loss, and even, you know, technological support, really, about, you know, helping people to get online and to continue to being able to maintain the relationships that they've already forged. We were sending, so we have like a mailing list as part of that service, and we were sending, you know, at one point nearly daily updates on guidance and resources to support professionals through COVID, and to support them to help people living with dementia. And we contributed to a lot of those as well. So we did like best practice for getting a COVID swab from somebody with dementia, dealing with distress, dealing with isolation, etc. Another project, a part of that, was the Gift a Smile campaign that we did, where children in the community were writing letters and cards to older people, and also to people who were living with care homes. And aside from that, we kind of had a bit of an idea that because a lot of, you know, the care homes were obviously in a, you know, state of lockdown, and people were quite concerned with the like sensory element of it, because we all know how important touch and that kind of interaction is. So we put a call out basically through local press to make some sensory products for people, you know, like the fidget blankets and cushions, but also I was really keen to get some DIY boards on there for any gents who might have had, you know, DIY passions in the past. And I thought it was just going to be like a few people who might send a few things in. And at one point, my back bedroom was literally full of, like, I'm going to share the screen again and show you some of the products that we got, which were absolutely fantastic. Let me just, can you see that?
Oh my Lord. Oh wow, yeah.
So people were literally ringing, texting at all hours of the day saying, oh, well, I'm on furlough, I've been in my garage, I've got all sorts, I've made you this board, can I bring it? I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's nice of him to do. And then the next minute there's like 20 DIY boards on my garden, there's bags of like cushions. So it was absolutely fantastic. So on one occasion I drove around Sheffield to all the different care homes that had expressed an interest that this would be beneficial for their residents, and we managed to drop these off for people, which were nice. So yeah, and we also contributed to our local hospice in Sheffield, St Luke's Hospice, have taken a lead on supporting the care homes in our community as well, and the Dementia Advice Service has been present at those meetings where possible, just to try and support and advise the care home staff too. So that's kind of an overview really of the Dementia Advice Service, obviously prior and post COVID, and that's a contract that's ongoing and that's showing so far to be really successful in supporting people with dementia in the community.
What can I just ask, Natasha, was that quite a recent contract?
2019, last October that started. So I'm going to kind of move slightly on now to talk about my beloved Wellbeing Centre, because this is my baby and my pride and joy. So I just wanted, if I can get the sound to work, Emma, which I did earlier with you, I just wanted to show a quick video if I can. So the Wellbeing Centre is an enhanced day environment for people who are living with dementia. So we're not all that keen on the word day service because of some of the connotations that might be associated with daycare. So we're an enhanced day environment and a day opportunity for people who are living with dementia. And I just want to, if I can,
press that special button.
I will remember to press that special button if I can remember. So if I share this, so I'm just going to show you. This is the Wellbeing Centre, obviously prior COVID. Just give me a nod if you can hear it.
I can't see it. Yeah.
Can't see it.
I don't know why it's not. The sound's coming through, but not the actual video.
What about if I minimise it a little bit? Can you see now?
No, it's just showing your just your files. It's not. Just double click it again and see if it opens.
If not, I have got it on a web browser. Yeah.
Sound. We're really sharing the sound very well.
Right, that's good. Let me see if I can get it up online. Can you still see that?
No, can only see the original screen with the files on.
Okay, bear with. I'm going to shut this. Ah, I know why. Can you see that?
See that?
Haha, we got there. Apologies, not very good at technology. Can we hear it is the other question.
Press that button.
Bear with. Sorry, everybody.
Don't apologise. The crowd, honestly, they're used to this. You're far more advanced than what I do.
Share computer sound. It's clicked. So we're going to go on to this one and we're going to click share. Right, I'm going to try it.
The Wellbeing Centre is a day service in Sheffield for people living with dementia. It's a chance for people to get out the house, socialise, take part in a range of activities that increase their well-being.
Everybody here seems to have fun and laughter, and it's nice for people with dementia to have that social experience, because quite often, as soon as the D word is mentioned, the Alzheimer's Society have said the evidence is that friends drop away because they just don't know how to deal with it. It's a social way to experience it rather than sitting at home in a chair watching the television, which is a very lonely way to experience dementia.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. How old do you think I am?
About 17.
Those are the days.
Speak up a bit, we can't hear it back row.
I was born in 1940s.
Oh, yeah.
1940s, yeah.
32, me.
Oh, 19. I thought you meant 32. Oh, we could do it all.
I think people have got this image in their head about a day centre with everybody sat round, falling asleep, listening to Vera Lynn or having a game of bingo, but it's very much about reigniting people's hobbies and interests and passions before. We do a lot of art-based activities, loads of focus around music that really ignites memories in people with dementia.
Somebody may not remember what they had for breakfast, but believe you me, if you put Elvis Presley, Jailhouse Rock, they will remember every word of that, and that is confidence. That gives them confidence that I've still got it.
What benefits do you get from working here?
Oh God, absolutely everything. It's just my absolute life. I love it. You gain so much from people who come and members, and you gain more than you give probably. And I've got some real friendships, and especially when you get to know people's families and things, it's really special, and they become really special to you and part of your extended family, and you love and care about them as if they were your own nan and granddad, even though they're somebody else's. So it's everything. It gives me a purpose. It's the reason I get out of bed in the morning. It's the reason why I sit on the laptop till midnight, 1 o'clock, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I'd do anything for them, any of them.
So that's the part where I cry. Oh, there's a cat.
Barry. That was a brilliant video. It really captures what you guys do.
Yeah, I thought I just wanted to, because obviously, we've had to make a few changes recently now that we are reopen. But I just wanted to kind of give you a bit of a glimpse of, life prior COVID. I don't know if we, it's just struggling to remember a life before that for anybody, I think, isn't it? But, that was taken last year, and, I love it. So, yeah, we had to close in March, obviously, like all face-to-face services did. And throughout that time, we were doing, weekly welfare calls to members, and that was a bit more. We found that, when you ring somebody and you kind of have that conversation over and over again, don't you? And I think everybody was in the same boat where, are you okay? Not really, this is rubbish. Are you? No, neither am I, it's rubbish. So we kind of got to a point where we had a bit of a Zoom meeting and said, we need something a bit more than this. So then we started some phone activities, and we were doing we were doing I Spy. I think I was doing I Spy for about an hour with one lady one day, because I was determined that we were going to get there in the end. I literally went through every item in my house going, is it a mirror? Is it a clock? We were doing phone tango. So we were doing like dance lessons down the phone to people, singing, reading poetry. We were also sending fortnightly activity packs as well, which were, I'm just going to show you them too. Can you see that?
Next one. Oh,
yeah. Do you see it?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So they were kind of personalised to people as well. So we had lots of different activity ideas that people were able to do from home, sending pictures that we'd taken, and it was stuff, because obviously we were doing the Zoom sessions too, and it was stuff that we could all kind of share when we all got together on the Zoom. So we were having sunflower growing competitions, we were having art competitions, and so on and so forth. So that was, a real positive. The weekly Zooms that we did were, we had guest singers there, we were doing chair aerobics, we were doing show and tell around the house, we were doing all sorts. So it was a great way for our members to still be able to, because people had real, and do still have, with staff, with volunteers, with each other, with families, real genuine friendships and connections. So when that was suddenly stopped, it really hit people really hard, and really hit, myself and my team really hard as well. Something that we've all done for, it's our lives really. So it was a really difficult time. We offered carer support Zooms as well, carer support WhatsApp groups. We've got a carer support Facebook groups that, even though things have kind of slightly gone back a bit more to normality now, that those are still being utilised, which is obviously fantastic. One of the things that we did do, so when I was ringing people's families up and saying, how are you, and how's mum and how's dad, there were a lot of times where people were saying to me, my mum just don't want to get out of bed. That she's just saying she's got no reason to get out of bed. We've got no structure, we've got no routine, etc., etc. So what I kind of had this, I'm always coming up with these daft ideas that people are like, oh, not again. Do we have to get dressed up as a lobster again? Or we started doing some theme days, which, let me just show you this if you can see it. So we had, this is one of our Zoom sessions. We had theme days, so that every day of the week had a particular theme, and it gave people kind of a collective reason to do something, whatever that something was. So we used to share it on our WhatsApp, Facebook, on our Zoom. So we did a Make It Monday. So every Sunday night we'd set a creative challenge for a Monday. On one occasion it was we had to make a rainbow out of items from our house. So we had to get an item of every colour, make a rainbow, take a picture, send it in. We used to do Tart Up Tuesdays, where that was the reason to actually get up early, get your lipstick on, get your bow tie on, and we'd all send a photo to each other looking all tarted up. Workout Wednesday, we'd set a physical challenge. Throwback Thursday was a reminiscence day, so we'd send old photographs in, and we used to have like a Guess Who day where we'd send anonymous photos in and say, can we guess who that is? Flavoursome Friday. So as part of our activity packs, we were sending chocolate treats out, sending recipes out that people could make together. Sing It Saturday, we'd have a song of choice each week that we'd all sing together. And at one point we did, for VE Day, we did a joint recording of We'll Meet Again, which we were trying to get, into a big video for us all to share. And a Slippers on Sunday, which was a bit of a chill day after a busy week. But people had said, from that, even though it was good fun and it sounds a bit daft, but actually, I think it gave a lot of people the kind of reason and the motivation to have a bit of a get up and go in a situation where it was very difficult to find, particularly for families, to find things for people to want to do and want to engage with. So that went down, really successfully. We also did a community project where we partnered with a coffee shop where we delivered 65 afternoon teas. So that was, an interesting day, driving around Sheffield looking for, everybody's home to drop these doorstep afternoon teas off. And again, that was something that we did. It was something that we did for members without them kind of knowing almost. So it was a nice surprise when we could do, obviously socially distanced doorstop visits, but people were just so thrilled and so grateful just to see a familiar face, and to see people who they were they knew, because for a lot of people, living on their own, they were seeing nobody throughout the week. So this is just a couple that we did, and thankfully it was a really glorious day. So it was lovely that people were able to send the photographs in, and there was a lot of joy that day. It was fantastic. And we also delivered them to some of our members who are living in care homes as well, so we were able to drop them at the door, and a lot of places were doing window visits at this point, so I was able to go and took my little dog as well to see one of our members. So when we finally got the fantastic news that we were able to reopen in early September, there were obviously, quite a few changes that we had to make because we're so used to it being like a hustle and bustle environment and loads of people come in and open door policy. We wanted everyone's grandkids there. There's in the place where we're based, it's a community centre, so there's a nursery down the hall. So we were forever doing projects with those, with the local school. And obviously that had to change really significantly. So we opened with reduced numbers to begin with. And I was saying earlier, wasn't I, Emma, that we started with around 4 or 5 members. Now, luckily, the room that we're based in is a very, very large room. So the social distancing is, quite easy to maintain. And the actual layout of the room that we've had, for quite some time, we had to think quite carefully in terms of rearranging that, because in the past when we've tried kind of a new setup, people have noticed a lot more than I think we probably anticipated they would, and it almost kind of upset the equilibrium a little bit. So we have to be very kind of subtle in the way that we did things. So that was, when we reopened, we did an upcycling project where the chaps had sanded down and painted some little coffee tables, and now they are the distance creators between chairs. So it was enabling people to take a bit of ownership as well to the changes that we were putting in place. We've got a lot of signage around the room, dementia friendly signage that says there's room for 4 people around this table, there's room for 6 people in this area, and on the tables as well we have them, and it says please keep apart, physically apart but always close in heart. And that's our new kind of motto that we've got, which is obviously, it's nice that people are able to share something together, that we all can kind of repeat that mantra as a gentle reminder, but also it's kind of embedded in our new routine now. I was saying earlier as well, Emma, that we're really in the privileged position that we're based in a park, and it's an absolutely beautiful park. So, obviously at the minute the weather's not great. I hope the washing's not getting too wet. But to begin with, we were kind of being able to utilise that outdoor space probably much more than we have done in the past. So even though we were always doing summer walks and sitting out in the park, I think it made us think very differently about how we could keep as safe as possible, but also utilise nature, because again, for a lot of people, they literally not left the house for going on 7 months. So when people had that opportunity to actually go out in nature, it was like you'd handed somebody £1 million. It was quite touching, actually. It was a happy and sad moment at the same time. So in terms of kind of infection control and hygiene, we've obviously employed a new cleaning regime, a deep cleaning regime every day, but also to encourage with like our own personal infection control procedures. We've got like a hand jive that we do. So we either do
show us. Are you going to sing that song and show us?
I think I've got a video. So one of the songs is "Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair," and "Splish Splash, I Was Taking a Bath," because I think that also rhymes with what everyone calls me, Tash. So it's Splish Splash, Tash was taking a bath. So we kind of do that as well. And again, it's embedding it into a routine where it's fun, and it's not that, going in and it's stop there, what we need to wash hands. It's all very light-hearted, but also very, very effective as well. Same with we've got like a temperature check station. So whenever anybody comes into the room, we do temperature checks, hand wash. But we do like a higher and lower, like Bruce's bonus. So if I've got 96.2, is it higher or lower? And we've got kind of a board where we put it down. For some of the chaps, one of my colleagues the other day, because of Sean Connery, who passed away, he was doing the James Bond kind of freeze, the name's Bond, James Bond, and that was, hilarious as well. And like a bit of a cops and robbers game with it. I've also, during lockdown, I bought a dog. So she comes into work with me now as well. So for people particularly who might really need that sensory touch and, to physically feel something and to hold something and to cuddle something, I must say she's been an absolute godsend. And, that's gone down an absolute storm.
A spaniel, a cock spaniel.
She is, yes. So let me, if I share, I think I've got some photos that I can show you.
1,000 photos of your cock spaniel now, Tash.
I've tried to keep it down because, every other social media outlet that I've got has just got 1,000 photos of her. So I thought for this particular occasion, I'll try and keep it to a bit more of a minimum. But yeah, I'm an obsessive dog owner at the minute. So this is layout of the room that I can show you. So obviously this distance between the chairs here is what we maintain. Everybody has their own personalised activity pack, so nobody's kind of sharing the same equipment. I don't know if you can see the blackboard at the back, guess your temperature. So that's our Brucey bonus temperature station. Same here. So these tables, you know, prior to this situation would be kind of, there'd be chairs all around it. Obviously, you know, we've just had to very subtly change things. And I think the items that we've got on the table, the sensory items, really help as well for people to have something to kind of sit and focus on. Obviously, you know, we've got our artwork and our pictures up too, which is really nice to be able to divert people to. These are the tables that the chaps upcycled for me. Onto the bathroom next. I said I need I need a house makeover.
Have people been all right with sort of just getting used to that new layout?
Yeah, we found overwhelmingly so, actually, that people have been so adaptive. And like I said, I think what's really helped is kind of embedding it into a routine, so that it's just become the normal thing that we do every single day. The songs, the sitting apart, the kind of you know, getting involved with all that, the temperature checks, it just becomes part of like a routine that, you know, people have got used to. So I'm really happy with how that's gone. We were also really passionate about you know, the real need and the real importance for being able to see people's facial expression. You know, people with dementia really need to have that, you know, those cues, and particularly people with, you know, additional sensory loss, the lip reading side of it. So we were really keen that we had the clear visors to enable our members to be able to, you know, see that and feel the warmth from our faces. We might not necessarily be able to, you know, have the hugs and cuddles and kisses that we used to, but somebody's, you know, still needs to see my smiling face at them, and you know, air kisses and everything else. So this is the outdoor, some of the outdoor space that we've got. So our room is just, you can see the windows at the top there, that's our room. So obviously that's, you know, a big length. And this is kind of some of the outdoor space, but, you know, the park's huge. And there she is. You've got my Cocker Spaniel fix for the day. So obviously, you know, she's, go on.
I was going to ask what she's called.
She's called Betty. So she's been, you know, providing lots of sensory stimulation and lots of love where people have really needed it, in that particular, you know, special way. This was just a picture that we took the other day, because I said, didn't I, that we'd had lots to do with the nursery prior and schools. So as part of the Marcus Rashford, Fair Share campaign, we did some treats for the, because there's a cafe on site as well. So our members made and helped to distribute some treats for the local cafe, because, you know, people are still passionate about being part of that community still, that we'd worked so hard over the past 6 years to develop those relationships, that, you know, it's really important that in a safe way that we're still able to do that, you know, whilst also maintaining social distancing, whilst also practicing good hand hygiene. It's important that people are still able to feel that they can contribute and that they want to do those particular things.
So Wellbeing Centre, no, you're there 3 days. Is it running 3 days, or does it run 5 days?
It runs 5 days. We're open 5 days a week. So yeah, that kind of like sums up mostly what I think I wanted to kind of just share with people. Obviously, you know, the new lockdown's coming tomorrow, isn't it? And thankfully we've been told that we can remain open. So I'm, you know, thrilled about that, and so happy on behalf of our members and our families. But, you know, I'd welcome any questions or feedback that anybody might have. Hope that was okay. Hope my voice wasn't too monotone.
No, it was brilliant. It was really entertaining. Thank you, Tash. So anyone who's got a question, we've got 20 minutes now for you to join a conversation with Natasha. So at the bottom of your screen, type it into Q&A or type it into chat, your choice. Tash, how did it feel when you opened that door on that first day?
It felt a bit like, you know, when you see the images on the news when the Pope gets off a plane and he always kneels down and kisses the floor. I was so tempted. I think if I could have done it, I would have done it. It was a happiness I can't describe. I don't know if there's been very few occasions where I felt that relieved and that happy, put it that way.
you know, obviously you've used Zoom and you've used a lot of really creative techniques to engage with people. Like, looking forward for your service, would you see that that would continue to play a part? So
definitely, yeah. So I think, you know, as awful as this whole situation has been, I think it's opened kind of a new way of thinking and working as well that does have its own benefits. So particularly as people are wanting to access the service in terms of, you know, new members that we're getting, new referrals, because obviously, you know, people's lives keep ticking on in the background, don't they? And we're very focused on the pandemic, but actually people are still being diagnosed with dementia. People, you know, still want to go out with their friends. So definitely we've done virtual visits so far. So obviously having people join some of our sessions via video. A lot of our members used to come from care homes, which is obviously, you know, it's a really sad situation that they're still not able to access that service. So what we did start doing was Zooming, you know, those people in. And on one occasion it was actually quite distressing because, you know, this lady was saying, well, why are my friends sat there and I'm not allowed to? And I think, you know, I think you have to weigh it up and be very individualized, don't you? And I think, you know, for some people it's great that they can still get involved in that way, but for other people it's almost a bit like a salt in the wound situation, which, you know, I totally understand. And I just don't, I wish I had the answer, but I don't. But certainly, you know, it'll be a mix of virtual support and face-to-face support from now on.
You know, some of the people who we've supported over here in Salford, because they would never be able to access like day stuff, actually they've got more support than they've ever had. So, you know, those people who you know, I think like for the carers who are caring for someone and they can't leave the house, actually they've got more support than they would have had prior to COVID. So
definitely. And the way that people have wanted to engage as well. So, you know, prior to all this, people had such busy lives and working and so on and so forth. And, you know, when we were doing carers events, physical carers events, sometimes we'd have quite good attendance, sometimes we wouldn't. We'd do things online, that might work, that might not. But suddenly the world kind of stopped, didn't it? And everybody was sat at home and couldn't go and do X, Y, and Z and weren't going to work. So actually people were saying, well, yeah, I do want to be part of this group and I do want to be part of this support network. And actually we've maintained those relationships even though things have changed slightly now. And I'm really pleased that we've been able to kind of reach people that we might not necessarily have before. So definitely I think that's been certainly a positive of this situation, certainly.
I was chuckling to myself when you were talking about delivering the afternoon teas, and it was a surprise because we sent round an ice cream van with the amazing ice cream man Pete, who was just the loveliest man ever, and he was like knocking on doors saying, got Mr. Whippy for you. And Claire, who's put a comment, she was busy, like she was working from home but looking after her mum, and she was like, went to the door in a bit of a, not an angry state, but she was like, what do you want? And he was like, do you want a Mr. Whippy?
I was honestly in the back of the car, like smushed up against the side window, full of afternoon teas, and I just kept thinking, how long does this cream last for? Like, we're gonna have to step on it. Thankfully, it was a time, you know, when the roads were really clear, so we had a very strict schedule that we were going on.
Right, I've got a few comments here for you. So Claire, who did enjoy, and Mum really did enjoy her ice cream. Natasha, what a fabulous setup you have at your Wellbeing Centre. Thanks for sharing. Love the phrase physically apart but close at heart. So she likes that. Thank you, Claire. Marion has asked, are you limited to 15 under the government guidance for multipurpose community centre?
Yes, so there is and I can send it to you in the new guidance. There is, I don't know if I've got it actually on about support groups of up to 15 people, and it does, as far as I'm aware, it does state that, and I have got that quote that I could email to you, Emma, if you want to disseminate that.
Yeah, that would be great. And have you been told you can't remain open because you're seen under adult services?
We can remain open. We are able to remain open, Marion. So like I said, there is a section in the new guidance about support groups for people with long-term conditions, and I think the others like parents and new parents and so on. So there is specific guidance on those things.
Janet asked, is it possible to have the dementia specialist advice service diagram, the colourful one that we weren't able to see? She said, can we email it out? I can email. Do you want to try and share it one more time?
Yeah, because I think I know what I did wrong now. Let me just see if oh, what am I doing? Right, hold on. Let me see if I can do it. I'm getting better at this. There will become a time where I'm excellent at Zoom. Tell me if you can see that.
Coming up. Yeah.
Woohoo! We got there in the end. Look how colourful it is. So yeah, we've got the person who's diagnosed, obviously in the middle here. Their details passed on to us at DAS. We pass them over to the PKWs. We can offer training, advice and support for professionals. And then also another part of the service is one of my roles is to conduct a MDT case review for anybody who might be kind of nearing crisis or alarm bells are ringing that, you know, somebody might be really struggling. And that's where I would, and I mean, this is another thing that Zoom's coming fantastically for. That's where I would invite anybody who's kind of involved in that person's care and support to a meeting where we all sit down at a table or obviously on Zoom and say, you know, we've got Mrs. Jones and things are really difficult for these reasons. I'm Mrs. Jones's OT. We've got, I don't know, the GP here, we've got the care home here, we've got the link worker here. What are we all doing? What do we all know? And how can we all make this situation better? So that's a really important part of the service as well.
You know, one of the things I wasn't quite sure of, you know, you talked about the people who work in the partnership. So you signed to the, what was the acronym? The
PKW, that's just like my daily
people keeping well.
Yep.
Folk. So who are they?
So they are part of, so they're like voluntary organisations that lead in a particular area. So for example, I'm not very good at like north, east, south, west, but where I live in Sheffield, in the Dore and Totley area, which is near to Derbyshire, the lead organisation there is Age UK Sheffield. In Hillsborough, for example, the lead there is an organisation called Zest. They're like voluntary action organisations who take lead for each area in Sheffield, basically. So it's within their remit to provide like health and well-being support for all kinds of, you know, different sectors of the community, different people, different cohorts. But as part of that, they have dementia-specific funding where they have to deliver dementia-specific activity support, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So some of the time you're actually just sending them to your own organisation for that particular area.
Yeah, and there'll be particular workers in this area. So two of my colleagues who work under the PKWs in this area will be the ones who they organise the cafes, they organise the walking groups, the art groups, etc.
I really loved that role that you guys have got around training, so that you're, you know, that sort of expertise is coming out from you guys.
Yeah.
So you're delivering that training out to whoever, to the care homes, to staff, to some of those people.
Yeah, those people. Yeah.
Those people. Right. Oh, Marion's come back. We reopened our dementia carers support group a month ago, but it looks like we will temporarily close again as the centre we operate in is closing and the government guidance is more specific about what they deem to support. I've only seen that it defines support groups as new parents, addiction, bereavement, etc., but not carers groups, which I checked last night. Has this been updated? Do you know? And is it more specific about what constitutes a support group?
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I know it did specifically say something about long-term health conditions, but no, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Thank you. I know Marion, Age UK Salford, under the same reason that Tasha's been able to stay open, Age UK Salford will be, their services started again this week and they'll be continuing with those. So Margaret has said, how many came to the Wellbeing Centre each day, sort of before COVID and now?
So probably about 15 to 17 a day prior COVID, sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. So quite busy, and you know, the hustle and the bustle and the, you know, banter and the relationships and the big events we used to have. I mean, we used to put on events where people's families had come, and in like half term people would bring their grandkids, and so it was lovely, and I'll really treasure those times and those moments forever. But I'm just so grateful that we're able to operate with, albeit limited numbers, but still for those people, it's absolutely essential that they're able to access this service still. So I think it's all about quality, not quantity.
I was thinking, when you were talking about those people who used to come from the care home, and actually it's not as, it's a bit like salt in the wound. And I was just thinking about one of the things that we do, the escape to the disco, almost as a separate thing, because we've got a DJ Jedrick, who's in his 80s, so he does as a Zoom disco, and then we have all the care homes coming on.
Lovely.
And then the idea is that also family members can meet up with someone in a care home on the virtual dance floor. So just as a thought for those who can't come to the centre, maybe something totally different, but I can hook you up with DJ Jedrick.
I'd love to.
Great set for not too much money. Does the Wellbeing Centre serve all of Sheffield?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we're a citywide service.
Are there any sort of criteria for who comes to you? Are you, do they get referred in, or can you self-refer, or?
You can do both. You can do both. So some referrals come from social care, hospitals. Some people it's word of mouth. Some people it's just people who I've just chat to on the street and tell them all about it, and they pass it on. But because we're not a registered service, we don't offer kind of personal care, that side of things. So that would be kind of the only reason why somebody either wouldn't be able to attend or might have to stop attending.
So we've got a few more minutes, folks. So if you've got any specific questions that you want to ask them, please send them over. Has the sound come through okay today, Tash, for you?
Yeah, it's been fine. Yeah.
A bit worried. We've got new laptops and the Zoom sound's been a bit strange. So we're just thinking about some of that online stuff that you guys will carry on doing. Can you tell us, have you any thoughts about what that would look like?
So like I said, we're obviously doing the virtual visits for people who want to. Any sessions that we do at the Wellbeing Centre, if people really wanted to be part of those but couldn't for any reason, so whether that be our creative sessions, our singing sessions, just our kind of chattering sessions, reminiscence, etc., then by all means would be extremely catering for people who might want to join virtually. Same for people who are living in care homes, and we have done that with particularly with our entertainers who are obviously doing that virtually too. It's great that we can see it, and somebody who's in the house in an area 16 miles away will be able to see it. So yeah, there's definitely a place for that going forwards.
Just looking, Marion's just added a little bit more. She's going to check with Tameside Age UK, who's closed. It's a pity. It's not. Oh, she's saying it's a pity. It's not a consistent offer across the sector. It does seem very specific to local areas about what you can and can't do. She said, but it's fabulous, and I have serious envy syndrome for all you are doing in Sheffield.
And if it was a different time, I'd say please come and see us. But obviously, I'll do you a virtual visit if you want.
Hey, Marion, you can have a virtual visit. She's asked, is it possible to have the slides and contact details? I have loads of questions.
Yeah. You can give me a call whenever.
Yeah, I'll make sure I share those out with you, Marion. Thank you for that. I've got a different cat here now. They all like to come on over. Well, it feels like we might have finished our seminar if nobody else has got any questions. I've asked all mine. Thank you, Margaret. Great session. Many thanks. I suppose the thing that you've all been worried about throughout the session is my washing, and I'm pleased to say that the sun is still shining and my washing is still out, so that's all good. So thank you so much, Tash. Thank you so much for your time. I know I just sort of put a call out for you, and I was like, does anybody want to come and do one of these seminars? And you were like, yeah, I will.
I do.
Which is brilliant. And it's been so fantastic to get a better understanding of what you guys do. And I love those two elements of what you do and how it sort of comes together, and just understanding how you've responded to COVID. Right. Oh, you're getting lots of praise from everyone. On another point, Emma, have I seen you on TV? Yes. Tash and Emma, great session. I don't think I can take any credit. I think that's all for you. Marion said, thanks, great Zoom meeting. Oh, wait a minute, we might have a question here. Marianne has asked. Great session and fabulous centre, you and Natasha. You've given me food for thought. I was thinking that like it would be brilliant to hook some of the Age UKs up, you know, just to share and best practice. So that's something that we can look to do. I think that's our last question. Oh, wait a minute, Alison from Bolton. Thank you. So it's been really, really great, Tash. Thank you for your time. We have got some more seminars coming up, dates and things to be confirmed. So watch this space. Wait a minute, is there another question? Now we're finishing. Oh, Rachel said, great to learn more. Thank you. Right, okay. Thanks a lot, Tash. And definitely would love to stay in touch and to carry on sort of building up a partnership and sharing of information, if that's all right.
Definitely so, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine. Go out for your last meal before lockdown. That's what we're doing. And I'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.